The product in my hand cost me about $65 with tax and shipping. A trip to the dentist, with insurance, usually runs me about the same amount. I prefer the dentist. You there watching might know exactly what this product is. Or you might not. If you're in the second bucket, count yourself lucky. But not for long. By the end of this video, I think you'll feel the exact same way I do. This cardboard envelope is one of the most heinous, predatory products the trading card world has ever created. Let's talk about it. This is a Magic the Gathering Secret Lair, a direct-to-consumer line that first launched in early December 2019, with a week of 7 24-hour drops. By far, the biggest appeal was the art style. For anyone watching that hasn't been playing Magic for 10 plus years, it's important to understand what 2019 was like for us veterans. After years of unique art styles and beautiful pieces from famed artists in the 90s and early 2000s, Magic the Gathering was in a serious rut of hyper-digitalized, hyper-realistic, and honestly, pretty homogenous artwork. In short, it was boring. No shade on digital artists, but that medium combined with what must have been a pretty strict art direction led to some pretty uninspired visual set designs. So when something finally came along to switch things up, I mean, check these out. They were unlike anything we had seen for over a decade. The community overall loved the level of creativity here, myself included. So much so that I even picked one up myself. And I actually played with these. Does anyone watching remember a time in Modern when Serum Visions was a playable card? Yeah, that was 10 years ago. And even then, it wasn't great. But I thought they looked amazing, and I still do. So here's how those first drops worked, very simply. Each one went on sale for just 24 hours. During that window, Wizards printed to demand. They'd take however many orders came in and print that many copies. No limit. Every drop then included a surprise bonus card that would be chosen at random. At the time, it felt fun, almost harmless. But in hindsight, it was only the testing ground for things to come. Even as I went through it, you might have felt that some parts of the Secret Lair system were already a little suspect. First, they were time-gated. So it was buy them now or eventually find them on the secondary market. That's a tried and true FOMO tactic that's almost never meant to benefit the consumer. In fairness, it was print to demand, which would make taking orders over days or weeks not super feasible. And if you wanted one and showed up during the window, you got one. That made sense, so we shrugged it off. How bad could it get? Next, they were direct to consumer. And here it's important to note that for decades, the local game store, or LGS, was Magic's lifeblood. That's where you bought packs, singles, and where your community lived. Now, I'm not going to say that Wizards of the Coast is forever indebted to these shops or anything like that, but this system bypassed them entirely by having orders processed directly on their website. You could argue that kept prices at MSRP, so we shrugged that off too. Then there were the bonus cards. As someone who bought the first ever iteration of Secret Lairs, this actually came as a complete surprise to me. Sometimes they matched the theme of the Secret Lair itself, and sometimes they were just cool cards in their own right. The one I got wasn't crazy or anything, but it was nice to get for free. And none of the cards I could have gotten would have swayed my future purchasing decisions. It was just cool. I did notice, however, that some bonus cards were more rare than others, and a few actually got pretty expensive on the secondary market. All in all, it was a pretty cool product, and I never regretted buying the first one. Really just a new and efficient way to showcase different art styles and bling out our decks with alternate versions of cards that we were already playing with. I think we were all just collectively hoping that this randomized component of Secret Lairs wouldn't become something that Wizards would exploit. Shortly after launch, the downward spiral of Secret Lairs had already begun. One by one, every single aspect of this product line that could be exploited by Wizards of the Coast was exploited. They started with the print run. In Secret Lair Ultimate Edition, released on May 2020, Wizards of the Coast reprinted all 5 enemy fetch lands with new art and a price tag of $169.99. Nice? Not nice. Before this, all 4 and 5 card Secret Lair products were $30 or $40. So, why the dramatic and sudden price increase? Well, you see, these 5 cards at the time totaled over $250 on the secondary market. So Wizards couldn't just go around selling $250 worth of cards for $40. No way. Instead, they did manage this time to throw local game stores a bone by shipping them a limited quantity of this Secret Lair to sell to their customer base. I will give them credit here for the nod to local game stores. However, this was also the first time Wizards would experiment with a limited drop. And fast forward to today, every Secret Lair release is, you guessed it, a limited drop. Gone are the days of having a full 24 hours or more to get your hands on one of these. Now, if you're lucky, you spend a full 4 hours in front of your computer mashing the refresh button just to get a hold of the more popular drops. Wizards said this is to help with fulfillment deadlines, and yeah, shipping used to be rough. But let's call it what it is: engineered scarcity that preys on FOMO. And trust me, it gets so much worse from here. The first Secret Lair I purchased contained 4 reprint copies of cards I already owned. The last Secret Lair I purchased contained an assortment of external IP characters with mechanically unique card designs that do not currently have basic versions. Now, this is nothing new. In October 2020, Wizards of the Coast released their first ever IP crossover with The Walking Dead Secret Lair. I'm intentionally keeping this video away from the topic of IP crossovers, so I won't get into how weird it was to have a hyper-realistic drawing of a man named Rick in Magic's at the time high fantasy setting. Because aside from the character's appearance, these cards were all mechanically unique, and some were quite powerful in-game. Not everyone took too lightly to this, and the community pushed back hard. Wizards promised eventual in-universe reprints, and some did arrive later, but the line had already been crossed. If Secret Lair could sell exclusive mechanics once, it could do it again. And again. And again. Combine that with the time-gated limited release, and this took the FOMO people were already feeling and kicked it up another few notches. And as if all of that wasn't enough, Wizards of the Coast managed to take things a few steps further. Remember those bonus cards I mentioned earlier? Yeah, they managed to make that predatory as well. The exact pool isn't often known up front, so while the majority of what you're buying is a guaranteed set of cards, one card isn't. Now, what if Wizards of the Coast turned what would normally be considered a cool extra into a lottery? And what if a single bonus card you pulled could be a mortgage payment? All of a sudden, even if you weren't interested in the specific cards in a Secret Lair, in the back of your mind, you know there could be something incredible hiding in the back of that envelope. What started as a freebie turned in many cases into the most valuable part of the product. That's not a bonus, it's a lever. By not wasting your entire Monday in front of your computer, you might not only be missing out on the next mechanically unique exclusive IP crossover, you might also be missing out on the chance to pull something truly incredible. Some people might dismiss this and think it's just a matter of self-control. And sure, self-control is a wonderful thing to have, but it's also important to keep track of each psychological trick Wizards of the Coast is playing on us by making this product exactly what it is. Having gone through all of that, the limited print run, mechanically unique designs, lottery bonus cards, all of this wouldn't be so bad if it was an isolated event. Like, what if there were only just 5 or 10 Secret Lair drops a year? Still extremely predatory, but at least there would be less of it? Well, that's not where we're at. This is the chart with the approximate number of Secret Lair drops per year from 2019 through 2024. In just 5 years, we went from a quirky 1-week experiment to roughly 1 drop every week, sometimes more. Each drop is another chance for a must-have, mechanically unique card to slip past you, and another spin on the bonus card roulette wheel. This isn't a product line anymore, it's a flood of exploitation. Some problems in the TCG world are complex, but this is not one of them. If Wizards wanted to fix the worst incentives in Secret Lair, they could do it tomorrow. First, go back to print to demand windows. If you insist on time gating, at least let everyone who shows up get one. Second, put the spotlight back on what made Magic special in the first place: art and artists. Celebrate creativity, not artificial scarcity. Third, never lock mechanically unique cards behind the limited sales window. Period. If a card is new to the game, it must be available through normal, predictable channels. Fourth, stop turning bonus cards into a lottery. Randomized pulls belong in booster packs, not standardized drops. Fifth, ease off the fire hose, and when possible, involve local game stores. It doesn't have to be every drop, but rebuilding the LGS ecosystem matters. So, what do you think? Do you hate these as much as I do? Please let me know in the comments, especially if you too have felt burned by the FOMO machine. Thanks for watching.